Hey, so today I wanted to do a little beer review. I'm usually pretty bad about this. I tend to just brew them and I never really make any videos of me drinking them and reviewing the actual beers. But I'm gonna try to do a little bit more videos where I'm reviewing the actual beer so you guys can actually see, what, more than anything, what I want to do with the beer reviews is kind of do a lessons learned, what I could have done better or things that I noticed that worked really well for me. So that's more or less what this is. So right here I'm actually drinking the IPA that I brewed for Cinco de Mayo. And I guess the first thing I would say is the appearance. I brewed this for Cinco de Mayo, and it's now June 12th, I believe. And so the beer has cleared up a little bit since then, just by being stored in the kegerator at about 45 degrees. And that says a little bit something about conditioning, storing the beer at lower temperatures. The lacing on the beer is actually pretty nice. It's pretty solid. It sticks to the glass pretty well. So there's really not a whole lot of haze that I would expect, considering I didn't use any kind of finings or isinglass or gelatin or anything like that. So for natural clearing, I think the beer looks fairly clear. And other than that, let's move on to the aroma now. When I brewed this beer, one of the things that I was doing was that I was trying to nail down the what I usually call the base beer, just like the malt profile, and just kind of balance out the sweetness of the beer with the hoppiness, especially for an IPA. I like to get the malt aroma and kind of like compare that with the flavor of the hops. So what I did is I kind of kept all my aroma hops out of this beer, just so that didn't really interfere with it. And even doing that, I did a late all late hop addition. So all my hops went in at 30 minutes or less within the boil. And one of the things that I can tell you, and this is one of the things that I wanted to see, is how much hop flavor really comes out from that hopping technique. And I can actually smell a little bit of the hop aroma, but it's mostly like I can almost smell the actual flavor of it, if that makes sense. So when I take a really good whiff on it, mostly what comes out is the malt aroma. It's like a little bit of a slightly caramel aroma to it, but a lot of like just hop character comes over. Not the typical hop aroma that you get with an IPA, because I didn't do any late additions or dry hop or anything. But I still get a lot of hop character in it, and that's really what I was looking for. So with this beer, really was more of an experiment, and it's basically my way of trying to perfect my IPA recipe. So in the future, I'm definitely going to be adding a lot more hops, either at knockout or as I'm trying to cool down the wort. To be honest, I try not to dry hop as much. I seem to be getting a lot better results when I do my hop additions right at the end of the boil, or right as I'm cooling down the wort. So that's one thing that I've been kind of testing out, and so hopefully whenever I brew this next, I'm gonna be looking for that even more, and I'm gonna be doing some testing as far as comparing this beer with a version where I dry hop the beer or just do late additions, like after the boil and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and give this a little taste. Not like I haven't been actually drinking it, but anyways, one of the things that I noticed with this beer is that it's a very clean beer. It's very drinkable. It's dry enough to be able to sip it, but not too dry to where it makes the hop bitterness harsh. Usually in IPA, there's like that that sweet spot where you dry out the beer enough to make it a really drinkable beer, but you don't dry it too much where it makes the bitterness kind of harsh, right? So like if you were to dry out this beer a lot, I think the hop bitterness just becomes a little bit overwhelming. There's really nothing to balance it out. And I think with this beer, I think I hit like just that sweet spot. I'm sure I can maybe do a little bit better, but I think the beer as is very drinkable. And one of the things that that I remember because I actually took this beer to a party. I'm surprised there's actually any left, but my friends, the ones that were drinking this beer, one of the things that they told me was that this beer was very, very drinkable. And one of my friends that usually pretty much has always drinks all my beers, he said that this is one of the best beers that I've brewed, and this is considering that this doesn't fit the full profile of an IPA, and it's only because it's missing that really strong hop aroma. Although it's not necessarily something that I mean, it's still within the guidelines, but in my head, when I think of an IPA, I really like that aroma to just blast out of the glass. So I think I'm onto something here with this recipe. I think the recipe as is excellent. If anything, I'm just going to be doing more hop additions towards the end, same hop variety, and you know, I'll probably be playing with that. So you know, stay tuned for more on this IPA. I'll probably be refining the recipe and just, you know, coming back and letting you guys know, you know, what I saw work best, what I saw didn't work best, and I mean that's pretty much it. I think if anything, I may try to change the mash schedule to mash it just slightly lower, not too much. I'm talking about maybe a degree or two, just to kind of see if that extra little push in dryness helps the beer or if it actually hurts it. So I think the mash schedule is good. I probably shouldn't even change it, but I like to experiment and, you know, find you know, what works best, what doesn't. So that's what I'm gonna do. Again, you know, whenever I post videos, keep in mind that sometimes I may be experimenting, sometimes I'm not, and that's another reason why I'm going to start to do a little bit more reviews and kind of come back with lessons learned, you know, what worked, what didn't work, kind of thing. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the beer. Like I said, it's good as is. If you brew it, you know, if you go back to the recipe, if you just want to add more aroma hops, I think you are going to enjoy this beer, and I really mean that. Cheers.